All right, you guys, welcome back to the channel. Thank you so much for tuning in. For today's video, we're gonna be installing the ScanGauge 3 from Linear Logic on my 2006 Honda S2000. So first and foremost, big shout out to Linear Logic for sending me this ScanGauge 3 to try out. The reason why it's out of the box already is because I actually tried this out on my 22 Subaru Outback Wilderness. I'll link the video somewhere here. And this thing worked really well with the Outback because it provided the data that should have came with the factory settings, such as the boost, the PSI, the knock, and the temperature of the CVT. So for hauling, climbing, and stuff like that, it's very important that you know what temps your CVT is, and it's honestly disappointing that it didn't come from the factory like that. So now we're gonna set it up on my S2000, and I'm super excited about it because, I mean, this car is pretty old, let's face it, so it's not gonna have that information that you're looking for in a modern day car. And mainly I'm looking for miles per gallon. Yes, I'm aware that you can calculate it manually, but I'd rather have it available at a glance, and I'm also wanting to see what other data this thing can pull from the S2000. So with that said, let's go ahead and get this thing installed. I'll show you exactly how I set it up. So I went into more detail on my other video about how I got this thing set up, this magnet, so you guys can just refer to that. But it's super easy. All you do is wipe it with alcohol and slap this thing on here just like that in the center. And then this thing is pretty self-explanatory. It just goes to your window or windshield. Be sure to clean it first, and then it should stick on there. And then lastly, you have the OBD2 cable that will route through and hide. Again, it should be pretty easy. I'm gonna spend more time going over the features rather than the install, because like I said, it should be self-explanatory. So let's go ahead and get started. Okay, so the first thing I'm gonna do is figure out where I want to mount this thing. So the only downside is it's a lot bigger than the ScanGauge 2, so it's gonna take up pretty much a lot of this space or this real estate right here in this area. If you guys can see, I can't really see where I'm at, but if you guys can see this Modify mount right here on the side, I do want to take off the cell phone holder and put a magnet on here so that it is right there, maybe right there, so it doesn't get in the way of the shifter. But I think this is a better location for this thing, and luckily this magnet right here is removable, so I just need to figure out a way to just use this over here on this side. All right, so back to what I was saying. I just took off the magnet piece that the ScanGauge came with, and I put it on here on the Modify mount where the radio is, or the DIN. And there we go. Look at that. That's perfect. Doesn't get in the way when you go into fifth or reverse. And honestly, it doesn't take away this space right here, so you can still see where you're going. But yeah, I'm really glad that worked out. For the purposes of the video, I'm gonna go ahead and mount it right here, just because I know not a lot of folks have this Modify mount, but just know that this magnet piece comes off and you can pretty much use it on anything that has a ball joint like that. Yeah, honestly, I don't love the location. I can always move it to the center over here, but then you have to worry about the cable and hiding it. I think right here is great just because you can hide it right here and then all the way down to the OBD2. Just bear with me, I'm gonna figure out the best way to wire this thing. Oh my gosh, that was brutal. Honestly, I forgot where the OBD2 plug is. Pay attention carefully because it took me a little while to find it. Here, I'll show you if you follow the cable. So we're standing right here. The plug is all the way in right there. So that is the plug for the ScanGauge that's plugged into the OBD2. Everyone always assumes that the plug is on this side right here to the left, but nope, it's all the way in there where your right knee is supposed to be when you're driving. So keep that in mind. And then as far as the cable goes, I'm just gonna push it through right here. Actually, I'm not gonna push it in all the way because I do want to mount it on that mount over there instead of over here, but it's gonna be pretty easy to hide. Just fish it through here all the way down and then under here, and then there's a lot of places where you can zip tie that up or just, you know, tuck it in there, but that should work. All right, so for the purposes of the video and to make it a lot easier on myself, because I hate filming stuff inside of the car, I mounted this a little higher than I prefer. So once you get your final placement, go ahead and take your cable and then plug it in to the back. There we go. Should turn on. And I don't remember if I need to start the car for this, but let's go. Hit I accept. Yeah, we probably need to at least have it in accessory mode or it won't connect. There we go. All right, so hopefully it's not too loud. I had to start the car. I didn't want to kill my battery. So let's see. This is the home page after you've connected it to the car. So the first thing you want to do is to always check if you have any updates. We're going to connect this to our Wi-Fi. So we go to More, Setup, Advanced, Wi-Fi Update, check for updates, and then you're going to connect to your Wi-Fi and then type in your password. Go ahead and hit connect. And that's the cool thing about this model, is that it has Wi-Fi updates. So let's update it to 1.26. It's currently on the 1.25 version. And this might take a little bit, so I'm going to skip this part. All right, download complete. All right, so the car is off. This thing is fully updated and it's connected to our ECU. Let's go ahead and start fresh by turning on the car. All right, so this is your home page. That's the first thing you'll see, and the first thing that we want to do is to go ahead and update our gauges. And to do that, you go to More, go to ScanGauge, and then you auto scan Honda Acura, select start scan. So it's just scanning all the other available bits of data based on the car that's not in the standard. So we'll select all, and there's a list of them right there. Hit save, and now we're back at the home page. So let's go back to gauge. And this is the standard information that's available from the car itself. And then over here, the ScanGauge, remember we added all of this. This is what's available from the ScanGauge that is specific to this car. Yeah, so you have all that right there. Let's replace that one with oil life. I don't know what that was at 0. Select. So that's in percentage. Again, not sure how it calculates it. I'll have to learn about this. Air fuel ratio. Oh, it was right there already. And then let's see what else we have. Gross horsepower. Select. Let's replace that with throttle position. That's cool. And then was coolant temp on there already? Oh yeah, coolant temp was there already. Intake temp, that's always important. I'm not too worried about oil life at the moment. Let's see. Oh, speed right there. Obviously not moving. Let's replace this. Yeah, I'm not sure why it says first gear. I don't even think this has a sensor for such thing, but who knows. And then let's see what else we got here. Fuel level, a little under half, which is pretty accurate. That's cool, I like that. And then let's replace that with instant miles per gallon. And then this is just the first page. Obviously you have 2 other pages that you can customize with the same data, like today's miles per gallon, trip miles per gallon, trip cost. So what this does is you enter in your tank size, which you can do that in the settings, and then once you enter in how much the gasoline costs, it'll calculate how much your trip costs. So every time you shut off the car, it's considered a trip. Back to the home page, go to gauge. Let's go to our first page right here. So yeah, engine RPM's climbing. There we go. Coolant temp steady at 181. This is actually what I was really looking for, was the miles per gallon. This thing doesn't have any of that for obvious reasons, but this is super cool to have. So yeah, that was just a quick demonstration on the ScanGauge 3. I'm gonna actually close out the video, but before I do that, I'm gonna move it to where this is right here. So give me a minute to do that and I'll check back with you guys. All right, so that's much better. Look at that. The wire tucked in between that door and the center console. Yeah, it's a lot cleaner on this side and it doesn't impede with the shifting or the door. So door still functions. Shift into 5th. There we go. Oh, I pushed it, that's why it turned on. So I guess if you touch the screen, then it'll turn on for a little bit. I think 12 seconds is the auto shut off. So in 12 seconds, if it doesn't detect any power, then it will shut off. But yes, I like this setup right here. This is so convenient. You can see everything. And then to change brightness, you just take 2 fingers, do that. And it gets dim, you guys can see right there. So yeah, that's about it. Just a quick overview of the ScanGauge 3 for the S2000. Like I said, there's a lot of data here that I need to learn. What I like doing with all of my cars, or specifically the WRX, the one that I had for 5 years, is just learn the minimums and the maximums and the preferred values, you know, of each of these, just so at a glance I'll be able to tell. Oh, I just shut off on us. Just so at a glance I'll be able to tell, you know, if there's any issues, any warnings or anything like that before it's too late. So all right, you guys, that's gonna be it for the ScanGauge 3 install on my 2006 Honda S2000. For a full detailed video of the setup and the ScanGauge's capabilities, go ahead and check out my other video that I did for my Subaru Outback. That's a little more detailed than this, but I try to be as detailed as I could with this video without dragging it for too long. I don't want to feel like I'm repeating myself, so I'm going to go ahead and link that video in the description as well as in this video. But like I said, there is still a lot for me to learn on the ScanGauge, specifically for the S2000. I absolutely love the real-time data that this thing is capable of providing. And like I said, it's a lot easier to see right here. Just basically, if I have my screens here, then everything is just in this side of the car and nothing right here. So everything is clear up front, and then all my data and radio and stuff like that is just right here out of sight. I love it. But all right, you guys, I'm gonna go ahead and close out this video. I will link the ScanGauge in the description down below. Let me know if you have any questions. If you made it this far through the video, thank you so much for watching. And as always, I'll catch you in the next one.